niggas hating on the kid, that's fine. I'ma make a movie out these niggas one time. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot a jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything could change. I turn the page in this comic. Hey yo, my city riding in a day of flower blossom when the sun fades. Every night it turn to Gotham, Batman and Robin. Not the heroes, but it happens when the op gets spotted. They whoop your ass and pat your pockets. Marvelous, everything real. Bitch, I never lied. Magneto lifting my arms to let the metal fly. All black Nina, call it black woman storm. But it rain on you niggas, don't get caught up in the storm. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot a jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything could change. I turn the page in this comic book. I'm not Peter Parker, so why do niggas think I hang with them? When every time they around, my spidey sense tingling. Bodies on nice for trying to be dead cool. Bodies in the water, that's how you make a dead pool. I bring carnage to these niggas, be an idiot. Dressed in all black, kinda looking like the symbiote. No matter if these niggas hating on me, I will never be a character erased from the story. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot a jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything could change. I turn the page in this comic book.
Salute. Federal workers, here's how to lock down your communications. Chances are, until now, most people haven't worried much about their private group chats or jokey social media posts being used against them. But under the Trump administration, privacy experts say there's a new urgency to making sure people understand the risk of their digital communication and take the proper precautions. This is especially true for anyone who works with the government, whether at federal agencies or in public schools or in libraries. It is safe to say that everyone's threat model has shifted, in part because of the new administration and the way tech companies are bending over backwards to serve their agenda. The lens of criminality and risk is expanding to include more people. Elon Musk said on X that publicly naming employees of his Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, was a crime, though no charges have been filed. A conservative group has posted a DEI watch list site that names government workers who say it has pronouns in their profiles, donated to Democrats, or worked on diversity, equity, and inclusion. In addition to photos, the site includes screenshots of people's social media posts. There is, of course, a limit to what individuals can do to keep their details private. The Musk-led DOGE is grabbing vast amount of data about employees and citizens from federal agencies, and it's unclear how it intends to use it. It is also impossible not to leave some kind of data trail. But whether you are talking about banned books on Blue Sky or discussing immigration status in a family chat, here are the precautions that you should take. Say less. The biggest risks often aren't high tech backdoors or spyware, but other human beings. Use the same care, choosing people you can trust messaging, as you do on messaging apps. When you do post or text, think through if and how it can be used against you. Even with the most secure systems, another person can take a screenshot or copy and paste. You don't need to overly self censor or hide your beliefs, but use common sense when it comes to sharing things publicly and privately. And above all, don't post about crimes online. Use Signal for text. The safest way to chat is with one person at a time, using an app with an end to end encryption. No backups turned on, and messages sent to disappear after a set amount of time. There are a number of app options, but most data privacy experts recommend Signal, which is designed to save as little information as possible so there is a less turnover. The free app is owned by a nonprofit company in San Francisco and can be downloaded on iOS or Android devices. Other encrypted options include WhatsApp and Messenger, but they both are owned by Meta and collect more metadata. You can use built in Apple or Android messaging apps, but they have some drawbacks as well. They are only fully encrypted when talking to other users on the same operating systems. So, as an iOS user's message to an Android friend is less secure. Make a backup plan with your contacts. If one system is compromised or closes, you may need to regroup someplace new. For example, if your contacts you only chat with over TikTok, ask for another way to connect in case the app shuts down again. Use caution on social media. Think of all your social media posts as public, even if you only share them with select friends. If you do post things publicly, don't assume having a small audience means your workplace, family, or other parties won't see it. Some companies and schools use software to do online background checks on applicants, and law enforcement has contacted people posting to apps like TikTok about perceived threats. The tech companies hosting your post can be asked to turn over post and metadata. Say your location or the time you posted to law enforcement with a warrant. Don't email. Make this your mantra. That email should have been encrypted text messages. Like social media, write your emails like they show up in every public court case someday, especially if they're on a work account. There are options for more secure email like Proton Mail, but it's more accessible to make that message into an overly long text on a secure app. Be safe outside too. If you are protesting or participating in any kind of activism, you should take extra care to protect your information. While protesting is considered a right protected underneath the First Amendment, that does not stop participants from being at risk for retaliation. For example, President Donald Trump recently signed an executive order threatening to take action against pro Palestinian protesters, saying, "We will find you and we will deport you." In addition to all the recommendations that were given, you can opt to use a burner phone instead of your main device. which will contain less data. You can also use resources like EFF's guide and keep a physical list of phone numbers on you. Get rid of data gobbling apps. Third-party apps filling up your phone are collecting data about things like your activity, your location, and even other devices connected to your network. Many are privacy nightmare. Delete any apps that you don't use that are from companies you aren't certain about and that are specifically built for collecting the kind of information that can be used against you. For example, if you live in a state with restrictive abortion laws, consider avoiding period or fertility tracking apps. Many of your most trusted and used apps are also collecting information that could be turned over in certain circumstances. Like search and map apps, assume there can be a trail of everything you looked up and places that you have been. Lock down your devices. The device you are using is as important as the app. Make sure you are only posting and communicating on phones and computers that you own, never a work issue device. The same goes for your internet or cellular connection. Don't send sensitive messages over work Wi-Fi. There are steps that you can take to secure your own home network, like improving your router security and, depending on the situation, using a VPN. Make sure you choose a trusted VPN. If you are using an iPhone, Apple has just added some beefy security features for people who are especially at high risk. If that's you, turn on advanced data protection mode in settings. It increases the type of data that will be end-to-end encrypted by Apple, meaning that when data is stored on iCloud, it cannot be accessed in a data breach or by Apple itself when requested by a government or even the user. However, you should still avoid any backups for sensitive chats. There are more advanced things you can do if you are especially worried, like encrypting your entire device or wiping it if you think you're entering a situation where it could be confiscated. Another less sensitive option is to turn off all biometric options to unlock your device, like face detection or fingerprints, and stick to a code that you cannot be compelled to turn over. This is a quick announcement. I hope this information helps. Salute.